Have you ever felt confused by the subtle emotions, hidden intentions, or unpredictable actions of women? What if I told you there are 10 specific weaknesses most women have? Ones you can truly understand and use to navigate relationships with clarity and wisdom. Stick around, because once you see the patterns, you'll never look at relationships the same way again. Men often dive into relationships without understanding the silent forces at play. Women, like men, have strengths and vulnerabilities, both of which shape their behavior. As a man guided by Stoic principles, your ability to recognize and address these weaknesses will not only improve your relationships, but also help you remain composed and wise no matter the circumstances. By the end of this video, you'll have the insight to approach women with understanding, patience, and strength. Let's break down the 10 weaknesses every man should know. 1. Fear of rejection. Rejection cuts deep for everyone, but for many women, it's an especially sensitive and complex emotion. Unlike men who might process rejection with an external reaction, anger, frustration, or even indifference, women often internalize it. This can lead to self-doubt and a spiral of overthinking. Why does this happen? Many women grow up in environments where societal validation shapes their self-worth. Whether it's compliments on appearance, praise for being agreeable, or validation from peers, the constant need to be accepted becomes ingrained over time. So, when rejection occurs, be it in love, work, or friendships, it's not just the immediate situation that stings. It brings up years of doubt, insecurity, and even unresolved pain. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone replaying scenarios in their mind, wondering what they did wrong or how they could have been better? It's a painful loop that can last hours, days, or even weeks. This fear of rejection is why some women may hesitate to express their feelings openly or take risks in relationships. They fear the heartbreak and emotional weight of hearing no or feeling unimportant. As a Stoic man, it's crucial to approach this with awareness and compassion. The principles of Stoicism teach us to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Your role isn't to exploit this vulnerability or use it as leverage. It's to recognize it as a shared human experience and create an environment where she feels valued. How can you do this? First, practice patience. If she seems hesitant or guarded, understand that her hesitation may come from a fear of being hurt. Instead of pressuring her to open up immediately, show consistency in your actions and words. This builds a sense of security over time. Second, when you notice her doubting herself or fearing rejection, offer gentle reassurance. For example, if she asks, "Do you think I'm good at this?" or "Did I say something wrong?" respond with honesty and positivity. Say things like, "You're overthinking. It's not about being perfect." Or, "What matters is you tried, and that shows your strength." These small affirmations can go a long way. Lastly, lead by example. Women admire men who handle rejection with grace and resilience. When you demonstrate that rejection doesn't define you, that it's just feedback or a part of life, you inspire her to adopt the same mindset. Over time, she'll learn that rejection isn't the end of the world, but a stepping stone for growth. In every interaction, remember, trust and connection flourish when kindness meets understanding. By recognizing her fear of rejection and responding with calmness and empathy, you not only deepen your bond, but also help her see herself in a new light, one filled with strength and potential. 2. Overthinking and self-doubt. Have you ever said something casual and watched it spark hours of introspection for someone? For many women, overthinking is a deeply ingrained habit, often tied to a desire for clarity and emotional security. Women tend to analyze relationships and interactions on a much deeper level than men. A simple comment like, "I'll call you later," can trigger a cascade of thoughts. Did I sound too eager? Was he annoyed? Does he even like me? This overthinking often stems from self-doubt. In a world that constantly scrutinizes women, how they look, what they say, and even how they feel, it's no surprise they might overanalyze. A casual disagreement or vague response can feel like rejection, prompting them to dissect every word, tone, and gesture for hidden meanings. Here's a relatable example. Imagine a woman texting a friend about a stressful day, only to get a short reply like, "Oh, that's tough." While most people might brush it off, she might start thinking, "Did I overshare? Am I a burden? Should I have kept quiet?" This spiral of doubt can be exhausting and emotionally draining. So how can you, as a Stoic, help her navigate this? Your calmness and emotional stability can be a powerful anchor in moments like these. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what's within our control and to let go of what isn't. By embodying this principle, you can gently guide her toward a more balanced perspective. How to approach overthinking. First, recognize the signs. When someone is overthinking, they often seek reassurance. You might hear them ask, "Are you mad at me?" Or, "Do you think I did something wrong?" Rather than dismissing their concerns, acknowledge their feelings. Saying something as simple as, "I can see you're worried about this. What's on your mind?" can make her feel heard and understood. Second, avoid fueling her worries. When she's caught in a spiral of what-ifs, resist the urge to overanalyze with her. Instead, bring her focus back to reality. For instance, if she's worried about a vague text from a friend, you might say, "You're reading too much into it. If something's wrong, they'll tell you. Until then, there's no point in stressing." This helps ground her thoughts without dismissing her feelings. Clarity is a gift you can offer in moments of doubt. If she's worried about a conversation you had, don't leave room for ambiguity. Be straightforward and honest. For example, if she asks, "Did I upset you earlier?" Instead of brushing it off with, "It's fine," say, "No, you didn't upset me. I was just thinking about something else." Simple, clear answers can prevent hours of unnecessary worry. Finally, encourage her to focus on what she can control. Share Stoic insights like, "We can't change what others think, but we can control how we respond." This reminder can help her shift her energy away from unproductive overthinking and towards self-growth. One of the best ways to help someone overcome overthinking is to model emotional resilience yourself. When you face challenges, demonstrate how to let go of unnecessary worry and focus on what matters. Share your thought process if needed. "I used to overthink things too, but I realized it doesn't change the outcome. Now I focus on doing my best and moving forward." Over time, your calm demeanor and steady presence can help her see that life doesn't have to be overanalyzed to be understood. By staying grounded and offering clarity, you create an environment where she feels safe, valued, and at peace. Remember, it's not about fixing her overthinking, it's about supporting her in finding balance. And when you master this, you'll not only deepen your connection, but also embody the strength and wisdom that Stoicism represents. 3. Emotional dependency. Have you ever noticed how women often seek emotional connection in a relationship? It's not just a desire, it's a fundamental need. Women tend to form deep emotional bonds, and when they feel connected to someone they trust, this connection can grow into emotional dependency. At first glance, this might seem like a heavy burden or even pressure. But let me tell you something. This is actually a profound sign of trust. When a woman depends on you emotionally, it means she feels safe. She's opened a door to her most vulnerable self, expecting you to understand, listen, and support her. This kind of trust is rare and it's fragile. Many men fail to recognize this, and instead of nurturing this connection, they withdraw, fearing that they'll lose their independence. But here's the secret. Stoicism teaches us balance. In Stoic philosophy, balance is the cornerstone of any relationship. Emotional support doesn't mean sacrificing your independence. Instead, it's about understanding boundaries and setting the right expectations. You see, a woman isn't looking for someone to fix all her problems. She's looking for someone who will stand beside her, provide perspective, and validate her emotions. Think about it this way. If you're too emotionally available, constantly catering to every whim and never prioritizing your own needs, you risk creating an unhealthy dynamic where your value diminishes. On the other hand, if you completely detach and act indifferent, you'll erode the trust she's placed in you. Both extremes are dangerous. How to handle emotional dependency the Stoic way. 1. Stay present, but not overwhelmed. When she shares her emotions or seeks your support, listen actively. Don't just nod along or provide shallow reassurances. Show her you understand, but avoid taking on her emotions as if they're your own. Respond with calmness, clarity, and reassurance, qualities that align perfectly with Stoicism. This shows her you care without overstepping your own emotional boundaries. 2. Encourage independence. The strongest relationships are built on mutual independence. While you offer her emotional support, subtly encourage her to rely on herself too. For instance, when she's stressed about a decision, guide her to find the solution rather than handing it to her. Say things like, "I trust your instincts on this," or "You're more capable than you think." These phrases empower her while maintaining the balance. 3. Guard your emotional energy. Emotional dependency can sometimes feel draining if not managed wisely. It's essential to take time for yourself, to recharge and refocus. Whether it's practicing mindfulness, pursuing hobbies, or maintaining friendships, ensure you have a life outside the relationship. When you take care of yourself, you'll have more emotional strength to offer without feeling overwhelmed. 4. Set clear boundaries. Communication is key. Let her know that you value her emotions, but also have personal limits. For example, if you need space after a long day, explain it to her gently. Say, "I want to be here for you, but I need some time to clear my mind first." This approach is honest and respectful, ensuring she understands your needs without feeling rejected. The Stoic mindset: respect over dependency. What Stoicism emphasizes is that emotional dependency, when unchecked, can lead to a relationship where one partner becomes overly reliant on the other. But when managed wisely, it transforms into mutual respect. By staying emotionally available yet grounded, you demonstrate strength, leadership, and care, all traits that foster a healthy, lasting connection. Here's the ultimate takeaway. When you can provide emotional support while maintaining your independence, you'll create a relationship that doesn't just survive, it thrives. Women respect a man who listens, understands, and supports them without losing himself in the process. It's not about being her everything. It's about being her rock, steady, reliable, and unshaken. 4th, sensitivity to criticism. Criticism. It's something we all face, but for many women, it can be an especially sensitive subject. Whether it's constructive feedback or a casual remark, criticism can feel like a personal attack, even if that wasn't the intent. But here's the thing. This sensitivity to criticism isn't a flaw. It's a deeply rooted emotional reaction that comes from a place of vulnerability. Understanding this is the first step toward navigating it with wisdom. When women are criticized, especially by someone they care about, it can trigger a range of emotions. Maybe it's insecurity, a fear of not being good enough, or simply a longing to be understood. In many cases, criticism can feel like an indictment of their worth, even though that's not the intention at all. This is why, when you're in a relationship, it's crucial to approach criticism carefully and with empathy. Now, as a Stoic man, how do you handle this situation? The Stoic way is not about avoiding criticism or being harsh in your delivery. It's about responding with emotional resilience and providing a safe space where your partner can feel supported, even in the face of critique. Think about this scenario. Your partner has done something that's bothering you, and you feel the need to offer feedback. The natural response might be to express your frustration or disappointment, but for many women, this can feel like an attack. Instead of diving straight into the criticism, take a step back. Approach the situation with understanding and patience. Instead of saying, "Why didn't you do this right?" or "You always mess this up," you can say something like, "I understand how this happened, and I want to talk about how we can improve this together." This approach not only softens the blow of criticism, but also shows that you're not attacking her, but working with her to find a solution. You're offering her a collaborative approach which builds trust rather than erodes it. But let's dive deeper. Why does criticism often land so harshly on women? Well, it often ties back to their desire for validation and recognition. Women, like all of us, want to feel seen and appreciated. So when criticism comes in, it can easily feel like it undermines their worth. That's why it's essential to approach criticism from a place of compassion. When you show genuine care in how you address the issue, you allow your partner to feel safe enough to receive the feedback without feeling personally attacked. Stoicism teaches us that the power to control our reactions lies within us. So, when you're on the receiving end of her emotional reaction to your criticism, don't react impulsively. Take a deep breath. Don't match her defensiveness with more criticism or a sharp response. Instead, approach it with calmness and understanding. This is where your emotional control becomes a powerful tool. Responding with a composed attitude shows her that you are not reacting to her emotions, but rather to the issue at hand. Here's an example. Let's say you've given her feedback and she gets upset or defensive. A reactive response might be to shut her down or dismiss her feelings. But as a Stoic, you can approach the situation differently. You could say something like, "I understand that this feedback may not feel easy, but I want you to know that my intention is to help, not hurt. How can we work through this together?" This response does two things. First, it acknowledges her emotions and validates how she feels. Second, it reinforces that the criticism is not a reflection of her worth as a person, but rather an opportunity for growth. This mindset encourages open communication and a more productive conversation. The Stoic approach to criticism isn't about avoiding difficult conversations or sugarcoating everything. It's about offering feedback in a way that's constructive, respectful, and compassionate. By doing so, you create a space where your partner feels safe to hear the truth without feeling diminished or belittled. Now, you may be wondering, what if she doesn't respond well even with the most compassionate delivery? That's a valid concern. The truth is, some people have a harder time accepting criticism than others, and that's where your patience comes in. Remember, a Stoic isn't rattled by the reactions of others. If she reacts defensively, it's important to stay calm and steady. Offer her space to process the feedback without pressuring her. Sometimes, it's not the message that's the problem. It's the timing or emotional state that makes it hard to hear. Over time, this approach builds trust and understanding in the relationship. She will learn that your feedback comes from a place of care, not criticism. As you continue to practice emotional composure and compassionate communication, the relationship grows stronger. she will begin to feel more comfortable accepting feedback and even using it to improve herself. And that, ultimately, creates a deeper connection between you both. To wrap up, sensitivity to criticism is something we all face, but it doesn't have to create conflict. By approaching it with patience, empathy, and emotional resilience, you can transform how criticism is received in your relationship. Remember, as a Stoic, your emotional control is your greatest strength. By responding with calmness and understanding, you not only diffuse tension, but also create a stronger, more supportive bond. 5. Desire for security. Have you ever wondered why the idea of security resonates so deeply with women? It's not just about having a roof over your head or money in the bank. Security is a much deeper, more emotional need. For many women, it's about finding someone who can weather life's storms without falling apart. Imagine this: a woman faces countless uncertainties in her daily life, pressures from work, family, or even societal expectations. In moments of vulnerability, she doesn't just seek someone who can provide solutions. She seeks someone who is the solution through their calm, steady presence. That's where a man's stability becomes irresistible. But let's be clear, this isn't about flaunting wealth or showing off material possessions. True security comes from a deeper place. It's about emotional stability. A Stoic man embodies this by staying grounded, even when the world feels chaotic. He doesn't react impulsively or let emotions dictate his actions. Instead, his calmness reassures others that everything will be okay. Think about it. A man who keeps his word, handles challenges with grace, and stays composed under pressure sends an unspoken message. You can rely on me. This kind of consistency is rare, and that's exactly why it's so valuable. Consider financial security as well. It's not about being rich, but showing responsibility. A man who manages his resources wisely, avoids reckless decisions, and plans for the future exudes a sense of safety. Women don't want someone who spends lavishly today and worries about tomorrow. They want someone who builds a foundation for a lasting future. Lastly, remember, strength isn't about control, it's about consistency. A Stoic man doesn't feel the need to dominate or manipulate to prove his worth. Instead, his unwavering character and balanced decisions create an environment where trust can thrive, and trust, more than anything, is the bedrock of security. When you embody this kind of strength, emotional and practical, you offer something rare, peace of mind, and that, my friend, is a treasure no one can resist. When you understand these 10 weaknesses, you gain more than just insight. You gain the power to build deeper, more meaningful connections. Instead of being reactive, you become intentional. Instead of feeling confused, you feel confident. Stoicism teaches us that wisdom and understanding are the foundations of all relationships. Every man guided by Stoic wisdom should approach relationships with empathy, patience, and clarity. By recognizing these weaknesses, you can navigate the complexities of relationships with strength and purpose, turning challenges into opportunities for growth, for both you and the women in your life. If this insight resonated with you, subscribe for more wisdom, or watch the next video to continue your journey.